I have totally been slacking on reading this book, The Language of Letting Go. My apologies. And yes, I am wearing stripes and flowers. I did an interview for a fitness professional who put together this online summit. It was pretty cool. I was able to share my story about addiction, about goal setting, about how my coach Becky's changed my life. And the most awesome part was I got to dress up and then still wear my PJs. That's the best part. So anyways, we're going to be playing catch up January 26th through the 30th. I'll try not to get so far behind, but I hope that you have been loving the passages from this book. I know that it really helped me, and I hope that you're not just listening to these, but you're taking the parts that are relevant to where your life needs help or reassurance and applying it there. We're almost at the end of January. February is around the corner, and that just means that 1/12 of our year is almost gone. So I hope that you're moving your life forward at the pace that's comfortable, but is going to get you to where you want to be at the end of the year. So January 26th, the topic is off the hook. We can learn not to get hooked into unhealthy, self-defeating behaviors in relationships. Behaviors such as caretaking, controlling, discounting ourselves, and believing lies. We can learn to watch for and identify hooks and choose not to allow ourselves to be hooked. Often, people do things consciously or without thinking that pull us into a series of self-defeating behaviors we call codependency. More often than not, these hooks can almost be deliberate and the results predictable. Someone may stand before us and hint or sigh about a problem, knowing or hoping that hint or sigh will hook us into taking care of him or her. This is manipulation. When people stand around us and hint and sigh about something, then coyly say, "Oh, never mind. That's not for you to worry about. That's a game." We need to recognize it. We're about to get sucked in if we allow it to happen. We can learn to insist that people ask us directly for what they want and need. What are the words, the signs, the looks, the hints, the cues that hooked us into predictable and often self-defeating behavior? What makes you feel sympathy, guilt, responsible for another? Our strong point is that we care so much. Our weak point is that we often underestimate the people with whom we're dealing. They know what they're doing. It is time we give up our naive assumption that people don't follow agendas of their own in their best interests and not necessarily in ours. We also want to check ourselves out. Do we give out hooks, looks, hints, hoping to hook another? We need to insist that we behave in a direct and honest manner with others instead of expecting them to rescue us. If someone wants something from us, insist that the person asks us directly for it. Require the same of ourselves. If someone baits hook, we don't have to bite it. I know for myself that I've always been a fixer, and I've taken that role in relationships that I cultivate, friendships, anything, that people have a problem, and I'm quick to jump and try to find a solution. And oftentimes people don't even want it. And then other times people have expected it, and then they expect it every time. So I've learned to set boundaries in the last couple of months and allow other people to fix their own problems. I'm here to listen. I'm here for you to vent to. However, you are more than capable of fixing your own problems. And for me, I know in my marriage, I always took this role on that it was my responsibility to make Ryan happy. He never asked for that. He didn't want that, and it wasn't my job. And I've had to sit back and, like I say, let him, but it was never my mind to take over. It's always been his to find his happiness, and I don't expect anybody else to do that for me. So those are things that, like, boundaries have been really helpful for me. And I found that, recently I've had a few people tell me their problems, and I realized that by setting those boundaries in my life, I was able to not go into that save you mode, and I was able to listen to the problems and not take them on as my own or worry about them or make them bigger than what they were. And so that is something that any type of addiction, a codependent relationship, or anything, you can just set boundaries, and you're going to be able to pull yourself away from those habits. All right, so January 27th, needing people. We can find the balance between needing people too much and not letting ourselves need anyone at all. Many of us have unmet dependency needs lingering from the past. While we want others to fulfill our desire to be loved unconditionally, we may have chosen people who cannot or will not be there for us. Some of us are so needy from not being loved that we drive people away by needing them too much. Some of us go to the other extreme. We may have become used to people not being there for us, so we push them away. We fight off our feelings of neediness by becoming overly independent by allowing allowing ourselves not to need anyone. Some of us won't let people be there for us. Either way, we are living out unfinished business. We deserve better. When we change, our circumstances will change. If we are too needy, we respond to that by accepting the needy part of us. We let ourselves heal from the pain of the past, needs going unmet. We stop telling ourselves we're unlovable because we haven't been loved the way we wanted and needed. If we have shut off the part of us that needs people, we become unwilling to open up, be vulnerable, and let ourselves be loved. We let ourselves have needs. We will get the love we need and desire when we begin to believe we're lovable and when we allow that to happen. This is so much about mindset when it comes to losing weight, to relationships, to anything. Whatever you believe, you will achieve. If you tell yourself you're unlovable, if you tell yourself that people leave you, if you tell yourself that people will let you down, guess what? You're always going to attract those people and those relationships and those things into your life. And that's something that I've been even thinking about my weight. With all the health issues that I've been dealing with, I'd convinced myself in 2017 that I could not lose weight, that I was stuck, that there was no answer. And even though I've now found that it was food allergies that were causing it, I'm still living by that same mindset, and I'm having to work really hard on changing that story. So this can apply to any part of your life. That stop telling yourself a certain thing, especially if you're living by a lesson or something that you experienced years ago that may not even be relevant or even the truth or close to the truth now, that's blocking good things from your life. All right, January 28th, staying in the present moment. Often one of our biggest questions is, what's going to happen? We may ask this about our relationships, our career, our recovery, our life. It's easy to tangle ourselves up in worrisome thoughts. Worrying about what's going to happen blocks us from functioning effectively today. It keeps us from doing our best now. It blocks us from learning and mastering today's lessons. Staying in the now, doing our best, and participating fully today are all we need to assure ourselves that what's going to happen tomorrow will be for the best. Worrying about what's going to happen is a negative contribution to our future. Living in here and now is ultimately the best thing we can do, not only for today, but for tomorrow. It helps our relationships, our career, our recovery, and our life. Things will work out if we let them. If we must focus on the future other than to plan, all we need to do is affirm that it will be good. That's something that I shared with a friend recently. I'm like, if you're going to assume something that you do not know is true or not, assume the best. It's going to take the same amount of energy, and you might as well hope for the best if you don't know. And this is something that I've had to, learn to deal with recently, is I've had a lot of things that are kind of up in the air. I don't know what's happening, and I'm trying to control it, and I'm getting stressed out, and I'm getting anxious, and I'm, snapping at people and getting just really burnt the fuck out, I noticed. And then I've just had to be reminded by my success partner to let it happen. Let what's gonna be, because I have no control over it. By being crazy, by losing sleep, by worrying, by trying to, ask tons of questions, trying to think that I might have the answer is not gonna get me any closer to the answer. It's just gonna happen. I have to trust the universe that it's gonna happen the way it is, that manipulating things and trying to control the way it's gonna happen is not really letting life happen and not really enjoying it or really knowing if it was meant to be or if I forced my hand. All right, so January 29th, going to meetings. We don't have to stay stuck in our misery and discomfort. An immediate option is available that will help us better. Go to a meeting or a support group. Why resist what can help us feel better? Why sit in our obsession or depression when attending a meeting? Even if that means an extra meeting, will that help us feel better? Too busy? There are 168 hours in each week. Taking 1 or 2 hours a week for a meeting can maximize the potential of the remaining 166 hours. If we can get into our codependent stuff, we can easily spend a majority of our waking hours obsessing, sitting, and doing nothing, lying in bed and feeling depressed or chasing other people's needs. Not taking those 2 hours for a meeting can cause us to waste the remaining hours. Too tired? There's nothing as invigorating as getting back on track. Going to a meeting can accomplish that. So even if you're not in a 12-step program, even if you're not dealing with codependent, recovery or addiction, the thing is, we all have problems. We all have things that stress us out, things that cause us pain, cause us worry, make us feel inadequate. And the thing is, we have the support. We have the network, we have the community, we have the people out there. So all you have to do is reach out to somebody and lean in instead of doing what normally feels natural for people, and that's to withdraw. So use your time to work on personal development, to reach out to somebody who's going to help you, not just somebody who's going to listen to you vent, but is going to help you and push you in the right direction. All right, so January 30, we're going to be all caught up. This topic is religious freedom. a power greater than ourselves, God as we understood him. These words introduce spirituality into the 12 steps. They are the first two references to God, and they are worded that way for a reason. We each have the freedom to define and understand our higher power, God, as we choose. That means we do not bring our religious affiliation into recovery groups. It means that we do not try to impose our religious beliefs or our understanding of God on anyone else. We do not use our groups or meetings as a soapbox to gain religious converts. If we do not try to force the particulars of our religious beliefs on others. We give ourselves and each person the right to a personal understanding of the higher power. This has been really helpful for me because I had religion forced on me and shoved down my throat. And I've had to recently set boundaries with people, and I was scared of how that would come across. And my boundaries were received with love and respect. And going to Tony Robbins in 2016 and 2017 and tapping into Gabrielle Bernstein and Brene Brown and all these different things that led me to things that have helped me become more open to my spirituality has really helped. It's helped me to trust the universe, to trust that there is a plan, to trust that things are happening as they are, and to learn to trust myself and other people. And so whatever God is and to you or the higher power of the universe, trust that there's something out there that is working for you, not against you, and that you can have happiness and fulfillment. And so that is something that has been really important to me in 2017 and this year and moving forward, is to be in touch with my spirituality and to not fear the things that I can't control.